Oh boy, we're in for a very nice treat tonight. This is Blood Oath Pact 7. This is part of an annual release that prides itself on never to be released again. Now this is a blended and both a finished whiskey, meaning blended by it's taken different juice from different ages, 14 and a 10, a 6, whatever you want to call it. But it's different barrels aged at different years with the juice inside, and it obviously blends it all together. And then a finish means that after the juice is done in the white oak cask, it's then finished in either like a port, a tequila, a wine, whatever kind of barrel, in order to give it some kind of extra flavor or something else to it. There's plenty of finished bourbons, whiskeys, whatever out there, but this is by far one of my favorites. So this is a blend of a 14-year, an 8-year, and then another 8-year that's been finished in Saunders casks, which is a white wine, and it adds kind of a tartness to it, as you would think of white grapes versus red grapes. So wine kind of tends to turn me off from bourbon, but this one is a real treat for me especially. So this is one of the few ones from Lux Row that I really appreciate, and this is one of my favorite all-time bottles. So this one is super duper special. These usually go for like $130 MSRP or so. You really shouldn't pay more than $150, $170 is kind of pushing it, but I've seen like Blood Oath Pact 4, 5, and 6 in 3-packs going for $1,000. If you pay for that, you're getting cheated, period. Don't ever pay that much for all 3 of any kind of this series. But 8 is pretty good. 9 is finished with a Cabernet barrel with it. It's too winey for me. It's a little strange. And then 10 is, I believe, going to be released this year or sometime in 2025. But let's have ourselves a pour right here. So I really like this one. Obviously, like I said, I like the Saunders cask finish to it. It has a nice tartness that's very different than any kind of bourbon. And it really is like a very nice finish to it. This is definitely one of the best finished bourbons I've ever had, and it's a really good introduction to finished bourbon, period, if you can even find this one. There's a better introduction to finished bourbons, but we'll get into more detail with some later episodes on that. So we'll take a whiff on the nose. And already you get that signature butterscotch, you know, the caramel that it prides itself on the label here. This label is hard to read on these guys, even though they're in cursive. And that's something we all forgot to read by 4th grade or so. So if you can decipher that, you've got a little bit of more window into the notes that are part of this thing. But kind of your typical thing, but you get a little more of a grapey kind of fruitiness to it. There's definitely more of a tart sourness to it. I actually really like this one. I know some of my friends, especially my best friend, he didn't like this one, but I absolutely love this finish. So let's have a good pour of this one. So we drink today because tomorrow we die. And immediately you get those oak tannins, obviously, much more of that butterscotch and caramel, but a lot of the finish is carried by that tartness from the white grapes. I really like the different clashing tastes, as weird as that is, where you go from a smooth and sweetness and really finish with that tartness to kind of bring it all together. It's almost like a tart candy, basically, to me, but it's not too overly wine-ish, even though I'm not a big wine guy, but this is very, very solid. This is an incredible bottle, and this is an easy 8 out of 10 for me right off the bat. So like I said, don't pay more than $150, $170 for these guys, but if you're lucky to find Pack 7 out there somewhere in the wild, good luck. But this one's worth it, but everything from this Blood Oath series is pretty darn worth it. So that'll be it for this episode. Cheers.